Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. This Wednesday, Scrubs, the reboot. Scrubs is back. I am so excited. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm married to a physician, and she always found this to be the most realistic medical show until The Pit came along. You got to watch The Pit with her. Her eyes are just like she's studying everything going on in that show. But she was a resident when JD and Turk were residents, so this really related to her and to me. I would watch the show, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy that you work with that's kind of Dr. Kelso. So Scrubs is back on Wednesday. Zach Braff told People there's a very young writer staff along with some of the brilliant original writers on Scrubs, and I think this young, very diverse group of writers will help us crack the case. Donald Faison said a lot of the story still holds up. You're still following your favorite doctors, your heroes to some people. Regardless of what's happened from season 1 through 9, the core story is still there, and people want to say that. We'll have to talk about season 9 at some point in today's episode. In the reboot, we see John, JD Dorian, and Christopher Turk back in their scrubs for the first time in years as they discover that while medicine and a new generation of interns has evolved, their bromance has stood the test of time. Characters new and old navigate the waters of Sacred Heart with laughter, heart, and some surprises along the way. Zach Braff is back as JD, Donald Faison as Turk, Sarah Chalke back as Dr. Elliot Reed, Judy Reyes, yep, she's back as Carla, and most importantly to me, John C. McGinley is Dr. Cox. Even the Todd is back. Did you know that Todd's full name is Dr. Todd Quinlan? I don't think I knew that. Now, the bad news, Zach Braff told People not everyone will be in all episodes because of quote-unquote scheduling. Yeah, like Judy Reyes is on that thing with, what's her name, Dee from Philadelphia. Boy, the Always Sunny in Philadelphia people, I pictured the actress, and as soon as her face showed up in my brain picture, I thought, bird. Her name is Caitlin Olsen. Took me a minute there. I wanted to say Susan Olsen, but you know who Susan Olsen is? Susan Olsen is Cindy Brady, who's 61 years old, by the way. Just in case she didn't think any of us are getting any older. I digress. Missing from the cast is Dr. Kelso. Actor Ken Jenkins is 85 years old. So both in terms of the actor and the character, it really would make sense to have Dr. Kelso around. The janitor, played by Neil Flynn, is also not in this one. Zach Braff is not ruling out bringing them back. He said the true answer is if we're blessed to have a second season, you will. Absolutely. And the real answer for season 1 is we're not fully sure yet. Episodes 8 and 9 of the 9-episode order were still being written when Zach did this interview in January. But he told Esquire, do we have the bandwidth in the first 9 to get to it all and surface a story that would be worthy of Ken and Neil? That might come up. At this point, I could tell you the answer, but most definitely, if we're lucky enough to get a season 2, that's something we want to do. Now, there are new characters, and this is where I'm wondering, I can't get a handle on this. Is this the JD Turk Elliot show? Or are they like kind of sort of in it and we're following all these new people around? Vanessa Bayer and Joel Kim Booster are notable additions to the cast. Vanessa plays Sibby, who runs a wellness program for faculty and staff at Sacred Heart Hospital. Joel Kim Booster plays Dr. Eric Park, an attending at Sacred Heart. There are also a bunch of interns. The character names are Serena, Asher, Blake, Amara, and Dashana. One character who won't be back is Ted Buckland. Actor Sam Lloyd passed away at age 56 in 2020 after being diagnosed with cancer. Faison said they do pay tribute to Sam. There'll be a new bar that we all go to, and we named it Lloyd's Tavern after actor Sam Lloyd. That was the production designer's idea, which I thought was beautiful. So there's a nod to Sam. We love Sam. We miss him. It's hard to do the show without him. He was an iconic member of the squad, and our plan is most definitely to have an episode that is tribute to him. Again, I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that in this first 9 or if that'll be in season 2. So we have to talk about the issue with season 9 of the original. If you watched it back then, they had kind of wrapped things up, and then they brought it back. But when they brought it back, Sacred Heart had been knocked down, and they were at this new hospital that was a teaching hospital, and it was just kind of wonky. Esquire asked Zach Braff, you're not calling this a reboot or a sequel, you're going with revival. Zach said, there's a distinction, revival, meaning you're bringing back the original people and the original vibe of the show, whereas a reboot would be sort of rethinking it. Esquire said, the reboot is what they tried with season 9. That was mostly new characters, but only lasted 13 episodes. Zach said, yeah. Bill Lawrence has said that he wishes that had a different title. It was meant to be a sort of a spinoff, really. He always said he wishes he had called it Scrubs Med School. It was supposed to be taking some of the characters and moving them to a new location. I think that would have made everything clear for the fans. For years now, there's been this feeling like season 9 doesn't really count. And I get people's feelings about that. I think it would have been all a bit easier if they'd called it a reboot/spinoff. Faison said, I feel like you can call it an Elseworld or a multiverse type situation. I like to look at season 9 as a multiverse story, like a different universe. So I guess Sacred Heart has been unknocked down, or I guess we'll retcon that whoever said that was joking when they said it. Don't ask questions, move along, just enjoy Scrubs. Zach Braff said, what happened when we did the rewatch podcast, Fake Doctors, Real Friends, people saw how similar our friendship really is to JD and Turk. The podcast became really popular. Then we started doing the T-Mobile ads, which were, again, not only versions of ourselves, but also nods to the character. It was that 1-2 punch that finally made ABC Hulu interested in doing a revival. We're all so close, so it's like, do you want to get together with all these people you love with great scripts and all laugh again? To us, it was a no-brainer. There were so many things to figure out, getting people on the same calendar, working out Bill's deal because he's under a Warner Brothers contract. That took literally years. I thought we might do a little mini-series kind of thing like Psych has done. I never imagined it was going to be like, nope, you're back at 8 o'clock prime time on ABC with Hulu the next day. That shocked all of us. We'll get a little more spoilery here, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the new season, skip ahead.
There he was, my mentor. At least he couldn't call me newbie anymore.
What can I do for you there, oldie?
I'm back, baby!
Do you know who those people are?
No.
Yeah, maybe try a different approach.
Maybe a little bit more like Dr. Cox.
Oh.
Listen up, newbies!
Really super start there, Scooter.
Leave Bambi alone.
It's good to be back.
Why are you standing like that?
I don't know, I felt heroic.
Here is where everyone is. As we come back to Sacred Heart Hospital, Zach Braff says JD is working as a concierge doctor and he has to come back because even though he lives about an hour away, one of his patients has been admitted to Sacred Heart. He and Turk are still great friends. Because of their lives and their schedules, they don't see each other that much. That loss to the deterioration of the friendship has hurt both of them. Turk has a big family, but neither one of them really has the community or the friendship that they had in the original series, and they really long for it. So when JD comes back for his patient and is reconnected with Dr. Cox, Carla, the Todd, Turk, and Elliot, and all these people, there's this domino effect of everybody experiencing what it's like to all be back together again, and that has an impact on all of them. Now, that's interesting phrasing there that it implies that he hasn't seen Elliot in a while. So are they no longer together? Faison said a lot of the questions are about Turk and JD's relationship. I think the relationship between Turk and Carla is still very interesting. The fans want to know about that. They want to know about JD and Elliot. It's a different time. Is the Todd still appropriate? You know what I mean? Well, he's definitely not appropriate, but can he survive in this world? More spoilers. Turk is chief of surgery. Elliot is a high-up attending physician. We were kids when we made the original show. When Donald and I started, we were 25, and now we're 50. Has Dr. Cox mellowed out? Zach says he's coping with the fact that he can't teach in the same way nowadays. He can't talk to interns like Dr. Cox used to talk to us. We've been educated that they get breaks and they have a wellness systems in place and they're not allowed to work the hours they used to work. So part of Dr. Cox's story is how to be this amazing teacher he was without being able to call people names and without being the tough love guy that he was. Oh, you softies. My inner Dr. Cox is like, what is this crap? Stop being soft on people. Toughen up, millennials and Gen Z and alphas. Gen X for the win. Dr. Cox is really wrestling with how to operate in this system. We learn that the Vanessa Bayer character handles HR complaints. She's got a very thick file on the Todd, and she also looks out, as they do in real hospitals, to make sure the interns aren't being worked to death. New characters. Braff tells us the surgical interns are Amara, who's had a very sheltered life. She's very innocent, super smart, but had a homeschooled existence. Deshauna is very confident. She's written as if Turk was a young woman, very cocky, very close with her father. He was her biggest champion. Faison said the way Turk looks at his interns is, I got to teach these guys. They have to be prepared because at the end, when I'm done with this, these two are going to be the ones that will continue my legacy here. And then there's the Instagram famous wannabe doctor. That character is Tosh, who's not only a skilled doctor, but an influencer. There's a handful of these people in the real world. They go through the intern process and commented on social media. A lot of med students and interns want to follow their experience. It isn't something that's overdone. My inner Dr. Cox is coming out. She's not only on her phone and posting, but it's an element of her character that while going through her training is also actively posting. October 2nd, 2001, Howard Rosenberg in the LA Times reviewed Scrubs. Howard wrote, Scrubs ranges from silliness to wonderful silliness as Primetime's first medical comedy that generates big laughs. Was Mr. Rosenberg unfamiliar with a show called MASH? I digress. Although the humor begins broadly, it grows on you as you adjust to its rhythms, and ultimately you hear yourself laughing out loud. This is easily NBC's best new series. It's a nice moment. It's also one of those distinctive comedies in which everything meshes. Entertainment Weekly, October 16th that same year, wrote Scrubs is a TV rarity, a new sitcom with an original look and point of view. and the merciful absence of a familiar star attempting a comeback. Scrubs is ER as a comedy, MASH and peacetime with newbie interns. Good description. Our hero is JD Dorian, played by Zach Braff, who looks like, this is great, a youthful cross between Ray Romano and Ed's Tom Cavanaugh, which is fascinating because later in the series they cast Tom Cavanaugh as JD's brother. In the show's most original move, Scrubs' One True Good Man is also its loosest cannon. John C. McGinley is giving a career-making performance as the flinty, sarcastic Dr. Cox, an experienced doctor who is, on the surface, everything we fear in a healer we might come into contact with, a bully with cold eyes, a short temper, and a black sense of humor. But just as MASH's Hawkeye Pierce made jaundice puns about jaundice because war-inspired cynicism as a defense mechanism, Dr. Cox staves off JD's petrified stares with a suck-it-up attitude. JD and Elliot desperately want Dr. Cox to mentor them, and Cox resists the role. From 2018, Jamie Sargent on Medium wondered, it's been 10 years since the original series of Scrubs aired. Does Scrubs hold up in 2018? We're told the show has an outdated view on women, especially in the first season. In one episode, we see Dr. Kelso slapping women's butts and being leery towards them. Yeah, that was the joke. He had an outdated view on women. That was the joke 25 years ago. There's not a more perfect example than the Todd, a misogynistic surgeon who is constantly making inappropriate gestures and comments toward his colleagues. It was something they tried to address in later series, but he never got past the creepy. None of this is new now. What are you talking about? That was the whole point of the characters. This aspect of the show has not aged well. Scrubs is 10 years old and is a product of its time. That's not to say it should get a pass. It shouldn't. And it's important that the shortcomings are highlighted. The latter seasons failed in comparison as JD became annoying and mean. It's not the fault of the showrunners and writers. All TV can become stale, and the show had already said so much at that point. I agree. I've been doing a rewatch. I think the first season's the best. In the middle of like season 4 now, and they really started getting into the relationships. I like the show when it was just simple screwball comedy. So I disagree with that review on Medium totally. Some of the episodes you may recall, some of the better episodes. My Screw Up, Season 3, Episode 14. That's the one with Brendan Fraser. He's Dr. Cox's good friend. And then, spoilers, you had 20 years. We get to live in denial right along with Dr. Cox. Then the reveal hits. Ben has been dead the entire episode. Cox has been grieving. My Last Word, Season 8, Episode 2. JD and Turk spend time with a dying man who doesn't want to be alone. That's the entire episode. People talking about fear, regret, and the end. One of my favorites, My Old Lady, Season 1, Episode 4. JD, Turk, and Elliot deal with patients who are dying in very different ways. One accepts it, one resists it, and one surprises everybody. Season 5, Episode 21, My Fallen Idol. Dr. Cox messes up, and JD realizes his hero is human. And then there's, of course, my finale, the final episode of Season 8, meant to be the series finale. It's JD's last day at Sacred Heart. He's walking the halls, imagining the future, saying goodbye. But now, everybody's back. Scrubs. I hope this is good. I'm a big fan of the show. Scrubs, ABC, Wednesday, 8 p.m. East and West. Looking forward to it. And that is your comedy news for today. Back tomorrow with a normal episode in the morning and then Comedy Survivor at noon Eastern. Meet you back here then.